All right, welcome back. Our GMC Sierra tweet of the night comes from the Pittsburgh Steelers. A big congratulations to John Norwig, who is retiring after 32 years on the job. Pressure-packed job when you're the head trainer and you're responsible for getting guys back into action quicker. He's done it with class. He's terrific at what he does. Everyone who was at a recent dinner, a lot of players showed up in their support of John Norwig. Classy man, and we wish him all the best in his retirement. That's our GMC Sierra tweet of the night. Let's go right to the phone lines, Andrew. We got a lot of people. We got Martin in Plum, who's first up tonight. Hey, Martin, what's up?
Hey, Bob and Pony. I was drinking the Kool-Aid in April, and then I got a huge hangover in May. Now I'm drinking the Kool-Aid again, and I hope they can keep on going. Let's go Bucks.
Yeah, well, if you had spiked
Well, you
Kool-Aid.
got any good hangover remedies, Bob? Because by that rate, he's going to need it again in July.
Probably.
Anything you like to do in those situations? I like a little ginger ale to settle the stomach. I'm a big fan of that.
Ginger ale can do that for you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But there are some other methods that you could utilize. But the point is here that they're back on the bandwagon. Pirate fans who jumped off after, man, a lot of people did. I didn't think they could give back 12 games over 500 in about a 3-week span, but they did. But credit to them for winning the last 2 games in that Giants series after dropping the first and then coming home. You know, winning against the Cardinals is always big. I don't care how bad they are, and they're 10 games under 500. Anytime you could beat them, a lineup filled with guys who have won hitting championships, MVPs.
Yep.
And normally they have guys who step up. You know, you're going to run into an Adam Wainwright. You're going to run into, you know, a Miles Michaelis who's going to shut you down, or Jack Flaherty. But for whatever reason, the Pirates figured out a way to beat him 3 games. That was big.
Yeah, I got to give Shelton credit. I think he's managed the bullpen pretty well during this stretch. I thought tonight his hands were kind of tied, and he brought Zastryzny in the game, and he nearly blew it. He probably should have gone with Perdomo right from the beginning there. But if you think about it, this winning streak started in San Francisco, Bob, when he got aggressive with his bullpen and asked Holderman to get 4 outs.
Right.
And that set up Bednar for his first save. And then yesterday's game, he asked Bednar to get a save 3 days in a row, which he had never done before, never attempted to do. So I know it's only June, but there's more urgency in the way that they're managing games, which I really love, because before it seemed like they didn't care. They felt like they were so far over 500 they would, you know, almost manage for 2 or 3 days from now instead of the game that was right in front of them. And I've seen a shift from Derek Shelton lately, and I'm a big fan of it.
I think a move that not many people talk about was the trade to acquire Dario Moretto. That dude has been very good in the bullpen. Every time he comes in
And he's
there,
got swag. Like, I've never seen a guy do like these moves out there on the mound. He practically moonwalks off the mound in the 6th inning after he strikes people out. The old school guys must drive him crazy, Bob. But he's got so much swag. The money man.
He does. He posed after the last strikeout he got out of that inning, and he was there for about 4 seconds. That's a long. Hey, that's part of today. We saw Josh Palacios with a bat flip, but that was more finally hit my first home run. Let's go back to the lines, Andrew. We got Mike in Zelienople. Mike, go ahead.
Hey, guys. Good evening.
Hey.
It's interesting. It looks like the Pirate rebuild maybe a year ahead of schedule because of kind of a soft division, and that's great. I'd like to see the Pirates take an aggressive stance toward the catchers in the organization, bring Andy Rodriguez up. You've got Hedges as the defensive coach, the catcher, the guru with the pitchers. That's great. Get that bat in the lineup. Make Henry Davis a right fielder for now. I don't think his catching skills defensively are that great, but I think his arm plays, the bat plays, obviously. Maybe eventually long-term have him at first base. You've got a guy down in single A, just moved up to double A, Abraham Gutierrez. I think it's going to be a good defensive and offensive catcher. Make these moves. Let's take a run at this year. If it doesn't happen, that's fine, but it's an exciting team that needs a little bit more offense.
And I think you'll see one of those guys up. My preference would be Henry Davis, the way he's back. If he goes to AAA and does what he did in Altoona, I would prefer him right now, even though, you know, Rodriguez was a triple before him, Andrew. But they have a nice little surplus of catching, which is nice, and ultimately those two will both be up here.
Well, I would have Davis start at catcher in Indy tomorrow, and I would have Rodriguez play a different position. Right now, Davis, I think, is closer to the major leagues. And you drafted him number 1 overall, I think, with the idea that he was going to be a full-time catcher, and you were going to have a really good bat at catcher, and you were going to have a full, complete player there. where if he hit 20 home runs a season, that's a huge boost to your team that you get that from the catcher position. Frankly, and I hate to be, the negative Nancy here, but Andy Rodriguez doesn't deserve a promotion right now. He's hitting 250 with, I think, 4 or 5 home runs.
Right.
That's not promotion material. Our guy Palacios, who you mentioned, was hitting like 400 at AAA when he got called up. So I need to see more from Rodriguez with the bat before I declare he's ready to help this team right now, Bob, at any position, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I think when you're number 1 overall, you should be on a faster track. And he hit the ball all over the place. Whopping home runs, long distance.
Yeah, Davis should be at AAA right now.
Right.
I agree with that move. That was the right call to bring him up.
Let's go to Jim in Peters Township. Hey, Jim, what's up?
Yeah, hey, I got a question. 2 questions. I've been on the bandwagon the whole time. You guys have known that I called. Bob, do you still think the Cardinals are the best team in the division?
I think you're going to see them emerge. I don't know if I've said the best team. I said they were the team to me that would eventually emerge and become a contender.
Do you still feel that way?
Yes, I do.
You do?
I do. It's
I
too
think
early
their
for me.
pitching's awful.
Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Well, I think they have too much pedigree on that team to be where they are. And I do think there will come a time when they'll put together a 10-game win streak and jump back into it. Just as I think the Pirates, people are going to get caught up in this streak, but they can probably go on, there's going to be a counterpunch the other way. So it's still too early for me to tell, that St. Louis's eliminator won't be a contender. St. Louis has pedigree on their team. I expect them to be there contending in August into September.
Well, the other way of putting that, though, Bob, pedigree also means old. That a lot of guys have been there, done that, but sometimes guys get old and they age fast. Now, Goldschmidt still looks like a stud, but Contreras has been a total bust. His home run Saturday being the exception to that. Arenado, Bob, how about the error Arenado made on Saturday? That opened up the door for the Pirates. You never see him make a play like that. He's not hit the ball well. And I think Wainwright's ready for the glue factory, ERA over 6. Flaherty hasn't been the same pitcher since all of his arm surgeries. Michaelis is just an average guy. They don't have a Mitch Keller type in their rotation.
I think they
don't have
guys
a guy
who will
like
get
an
it
alpha
together.
male dog.
I understand what you're saying, but I also think they have too much on their side, too much history. They have some guys in their minors as well. They have a hard-hitting second baseman. They got some weapons, and we'll see what their left fielder, their young left fielder who has stud potential, what he can do. I just think it's too early to tell on them. We'll see. This is going to be a division. It's going to be average all season long, and I don't expect that to change. Real quick, Andrew, we had this debate with Joe and I on the radio before your show today about who you would take from LSU, the pitcher, the outfielder. Both look to be sort of generation type of players, but the pitcher can put it up there at over 100 miles an hour, got a lively arm, but you also have an outfielder who can be a 5-tool guy. What would you do?
I'd take Cruz, the outfielder, I think right now. Now, I got to see how these guys perform the rest of the college baseball season in these huge games. I know Cruz hit another home run today. I would be a little bit, not knowing everything about these guys, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. I would be afraid of the mileage on the pitcher's arm, where he's getting overtaxed here. He's pitching deep into games. LSU's basically trying to maximize what he can do to win a College World Series. And, I've got Kumar Rocker in my head, where he was so good at Vanderbilt for those couple years. Seriously,
I know.
And now he's had arm troubles ever since. So I think the safer bet, when they're so close, I think the safer bet is Dylan Cruz in this situation.
I like
Bob.
Dylan Cruz too, and I do that just because I want a hitter, a legit hitter, and I think that's it. And but you can never have enough pitching. We know that, and because all these guys do have arm issues. You'd like to get another stud like that if you could do it. So it's going to be a very interesting.
Well,
choice.
you can always trade a prospect for a pitcher, whether it's one of these catchers or one of these other guys in your organization. You're allowed to make trades too, Bob.
Yeah, and they may very well do that, depending on how things go here. But the bottom line is they're going to have 2 nice choices, and we'll see how the Pirates handle that. We got to take a break, come back with more. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Back here right after this.